have to drive with authority, y'all, to make sure I get from A to B. Hey explorers, it is Travel Chat Thursday, and I have moved my Travel Chat Thursdays from Instagram to YouTube. I'm like, I should have all my videos in one place, right? Right. So starting this week, Travel Chat Thursdays will be here on my YouTube channel at 11 a.m. Eastern Time every Thursday. My Travel Chat Thursdays focused around things that are happening in the travel industry, news around the world, things that may have happened to me in my travels, all here in Travel Chat Thursday. So let's start. This week, if you've been catching up and following me in my prior videos, you know I went on a road trip out west. And for me, I used to love traveling by car, by myself, driving on the open road. Then I was in 2 car accidents. One was traumatizing because I was hit by a semi truck. This was in 2016, a few days before I was expected to go to Havana, Cuba. I almost didn't go because I was just so out of it. And then in 2019, I was in a car accident on the way to work because traffic is just horrendous here in Atlanta. And that has been one of the best things about COVID is that I do not have to drive to and from work, y'all. I hated it. I mean, I was only going one way. It was the longest way possible. It was the only way that I felt comfortable driving because it was terrifying for me. So with that said, I went on a solo road trip. I always wanted to drive out west and see all the beautiful things, but you can't fly there. And so I figured this would be a good year to see some of these things out in nature. There's so much to see in the United States, but usually I'm packing my bag and hopping on that Delta jet to go overseas somewhere. But since that's slowed down, thanks to the Rona, I had to take a journey out west and fulfill my travel bug that way. I wanted to share with you a few things that I learned or prepared myself for in this solo road trip. And some of it is related to solo travel, which I have talked about a lot before, and tips you need to be aware of when you travel solo. But this will be more so on the road trip side, so you could kind of pair them together. So the first thing is, and this is something that I would do traveling solo period, is to share your itinerary and your location. This is important because you don't know what may happen to you out on the open road. You got to be honest with yourself. There are some really important things to be aware of that you hope doesn't happen, but you need to always prepare for the worst, hope for the best. So for me, when I travel solo, I'm very intentional. I plan out an itinerary to the T. I plan out ones when I travel with other people, but it's not as detailed as when I travel solo. And I typed it up and I give it to my mom. She knows exactly where I'm supposed to be at around what time. And then I share my location once I arrive to that place with her until I get back home. So she knows if I'm supposed to be in the hotel at 4 p.m., I should be in there. Or if I'm supposed to be at Zion National Park, she should know I should be in Springdale, Utah at this time. So she knows where I should be. All right, another thing you must do before you get started is inspect your vehicle. If it's your own vehicle, take it in for service. Make sure it's okay. Make sure you have that oil change done. Make sure the tires are good. Just take it in for a multi-point inspection. If you're renting a car, make sure you just don't take it out on the road right away. Maybe rent it the night before and drive it around the town, or don't get started until later in the day. Make sure you do an inspection walking around, starting it up. Make sure it is okay for you to hit the road, because the worst thing you want to do is get out on the road and something happens and your car stalls. And regardless if you're a personal car or a rental car, you're gonna have to call someone to come out and assist you. The next thing you wanna always pay attention to, and I am not good with this, especially being here on the East Coast US, we have gas stations everywhere, and I am reckless about gas. I will let that gas tank get down to when the light comes on. I have to drive with authority, y'all, to make sure I get from A to B. I really had to be intentional and plan for this one. So I always made sure before I started my journey for that day that I filled up my gas tank, because you do not want to run out of gas. That is an embarrassing story. Why you were 3 hours late to your location because you ran out of gas. Next, you want to have any emergency numbers. If it is a rental car, you want to make sure that you have the number for the rental car plate. Have your insurance phone numbers ready. Also, for a fun thing, make sure you have snacks. So I literally got to Vegas and then I went to Vaughn's supermarket and I picked up snacks and water for the road. So I had some stuff to keep with me throughout my entire trip. Also, take your time when you're on a road trip. Yeah, you want to get from A to B, but if you're on a road trip out west or a road trip, say in Iceland, where you're trying to see the landscape, don't rush it. Take your time. Don't try to outrace someone on the road. Just take in the sights. You're gonna get there when you get there. And lastly, make sure you have directions. So obviously we're in a very nice day and age where we have our smartphones where you can just put the destination in your map and you can get from A to B. Well, there's a couple things to be concerned about that. So make sure if you're going to do that, if you haven't started your map before you leave somewhere, make sure you have the map downloaded offline. Google Maps does do that. You can also download a Maps app where you can do that so you can have your application ready and available to go as soon as possible. But also your phone can overheat. I went to the Grand Canyon. I had to drive back to my hotel after being in the Grand Canyon all day. Yeah, my phone overheated. And I realized something strange was happening when I was on the train back. And I wish I would have let that click then so I could have turned it off and let it cool down, but I didn't realize it because I was just tired. And I get in the car and it wouldn't work. I couldn't pull up anything. Like the map wasn't working. It couldn't pick up my location. Things were just going a little crazy. Well, luckily I had a second phone with me and the phone was the exact same phone, the exact same cell service, and it worked. And that's when I was like, okay, this phone overheated while having fun at the Grand Canyon. So make sure you have a backup plan. You may think that having a map offline is okay, but if you plan to be out in nature and recording, taking pictures, that phone may overheat. So either remember your directions back, have another phone, or have directions printed out for you. So thank you so much for watching. I want to know, what else would you add into your emergency list of things that you must have for a solo road trip? I want to know down in the comments, so comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also make sure if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when each week's video comes out, or any video comes out, I should say, because now they're coming out twice a week. And share this video with your friends, family, or social media networks because maybe they need to know a little bit about what they need for a road trip. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night wherever in the world you are.